Greetings, comrades and friends. Here I am again with a brand new video. We often hear this term, toxic masculinity. What is a toxic male? I will try to be brief. And I would argue, based on the Marxist ideology of gender equality, which was championed in the past by great feminists such as Alexandra Kollontai, Rosa Luxemburg, Jiang Tsing, even Elena Ceausescu in Romania. According to Marx, according to the ideology of equality, of gender equality, which is Marxist in its origin, a toxic male can be distinguished by four things. By four things you can distinguish him. First, a toxic man, a toxic male, will believe or will practice himself violence against women to a certain degree, because not all abusive men are abusive in the same degree. Not all men who employ violence are toxic to the same degree, but they are all toxic. All men who employ violence against women are toxic. I should have to add here that a man who uses violence against a woman, more often a woman who is physically weaker than him, also believes that violence can be justified against men who are physically weaker. In other words, a man who will hit a woman who is physically weaker than him will also hit a man who is physically weaker than him, on account of him or her disrespecting him. They have this need for respect. People who often ask for respect are people who are highly toxic. People who go around asking other people for respect. People who would not suffer a slight. People who would not endure a slight. They are toxic men, they are toxic people, they are toxic males. You see? The second feature by which you can always distinguish a toxic man is that a toxic man does not believe in gender equality, opposes gender equality, thinks gender equality is a bad thing, a conspiracy against normality, a conspiracy against religion, and so on. Men who oppose gender equality are not always violent against women, but all men who practice violence against women oppose gender equality. People who oppose gender equality claim that nature has not created us equal, that women are somehow inferior to men when it comes to physical strength, when it comes to emotional strength, because emotional strength is often of more importance than physical strength, and also when it comes to intelligence, to brightness. They are utterly ignorant of what happened in history. They are utterly ignorant that there used to exist females who proved themselves superior to men in combat skills, in fighting skills, such as the esteemed Amazons of Dahomey in the 17th to 19th century, who prove themselves superior to men in battle, and whom the French only managed to defeat by employing machine guns against them in the 1894 French Daomean War. So men who oppose gender equality are utterly ignorant of the reality of great women scientists, Marie Curie, Jane Goodall, who gave us the best account ever of the wildlife of chimpanzees, and so on, of women fighters, such as the Dahomey Amazons, and so on. Third, men who are toxic always believe in gender roles. They do believe that there is such a thing in nature as gender roles. Gender roles, however, do not occur in nature. Show me a single animal species which has gender roles. Oh, there's a wedding outside. How nice. A wedding outside. Lions have no gender roles. The male and female routinely engage in the same type of activity, in hunting. Tigers have no gender roles at all. Both the female and the male do fight and do hunt. Gender roles have not always existed in human society. Gender roles are only a recent phenomenon. They did not used to exist under primitive communism. Under primitive communism, the original state of equality which existed across planet Earth, there was no gender roles, meaning women engaged in hunting, men engaged in child rearing. In some places they still do. For example, among the Aka Pygmies of Central Africa, men spend time with their children nearly as often, nearly as much as women do. Women engage in hunting nearly as much as men do. That, of course, was until their way of life was brutally disrupted by the advance of evil capitalism. Fourth, a man who is toxic to a lesser degree than the other three types mentioned before is a man who opposes affirmative action. Men can be found who agree on all 3 points: that there should be no violence against women, that there should be no discrimination of women, that there should be no gender roles. Yet they flinch back when it comes to affirmative action for women. They would support all 3 points, they would support us on all 3 points, but they would oppose us when it comes to affirmative action. Yet affirmative action is necessary because women are historically disadvantaged. Patriarchist men have subjected women over the course of millennia to countless forms of abuse and discrimination. Therefore, women are not so effective as men when it comes to a lot of things. Women cannot fight on average as good as men can, because they have not been trained as much as men have been. Men have been trained over the course of centuries to fight. Women to a much lesser extent. Therefore, women cannot perform as best as men can when it comes to fighting, because they lack a lot of training. Therefore, women should be advantaged, should be offered more opportunity than men when it comes to boxing, when it comes to wrestling, when it comes to rugby, and so on. In time, people will understand, men will understand that you can't have real equality without some sort of affirmative action. For how long? for as long as gender roles do remain in existence. When gender roles are no more, we shall abolish affirmative action. We keep affirmative action for as long as gender roles remain in place. I want to tell you that there is no such thing, there is no thing more beautiful to me in my eyes than a woman who engages in male activity. For example, a woman who plays rugby. A woman who plays rugby is more beautiful than a ballet dancer. A woman who wrestles is more attractive than a woman who plays gymnastics. I do believe that gender roles are absolute nonsense, absolute rubbish. Because, hey, you cannot find gender roles in nature. Lions, tigers, they do not have gender roles. Wolves, they do not have gender roles. You cannot find them in nature, and they have not always been with us. They have only been with us for a very recent time. 95% of human history is a history without gender roles. Therefore, gender roles have no firm tradition. They are not grounded in either nature or history. That would be enough for now. See you soon again.